welcome everyone to another series, a morning series of Coffee Talk. We've got some really special guests with us this morning. We're so glad you're with us. I also do want to note that it happens to be Richard Saucedo's birthday today, and he's celebrating that by starting vacation. So that's why he's not with us this morning. I'd like to welcome Mike Kamphuis, our Vice President for Sales and Education from Conn Selmer, Sean King, the Executive Director of USBands, and Frank Troyka, one of our senior clinicians with Conn Selmer and also an educational consultant with USBands. Welcome this morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning.
It's good to see all of you. I appreciate you joining me this morning. And, you know, marching season has come to an end. And, you know, for a lot of us, it could have been as late as last week that it came to an end, or just the previous week to that. But we kind of wanted to just kind of do a series synopsis of what's been going on, not only during the summer with USBands, but also this fall. And also have Mike speak to us a little bit about the special relationship that Conn Selmer and specifically Ludwig-Musser has with USBands now. Mike?
Well, thanks, Randy. It's such a pleasure to be here on Coffee Talk. I enjoy the episodes every week, so glad to be here with everybody. You know, we're very excited about the partnership that we have with USBands and with Blue Devils Performing Arts. You know, with this triad of Blue Devils and USBands and Conn Selmer coming together, there's a tremendous opportunity for us to do a lot in support of music education in regards to the marching arts and many other activities that USBands has to offer on the concert band side and many other activities. And through the partnership, one of the areas that we've been leaning heavily on from a product development standpoint is Ludwig and Musser. You know, the Ludwig marching battery. I saw this historic picture from 1976 of Scott Johnson on center snare with the Blue Devils playing Ludwig. And, you know, it's just one of those iconic photos that you want to see Ludwig at that level once again. And for the past 3 to 4 years, we've been working with the Blue Devils on further development of our Ludwig marching battery, and also with Brian Dinkle of the Blue Devils on our Musser front ensemble percussion. So a lot of exciting innovations there. And when this opportunity with USBands came about for Conn Selmer to partner with USBands and the Blue Devils, the logical thing for us to do is to have Ludwig-Musser be the presenting sponsor of USBands for the foreseeable future, because we want that legacy marching percussion to be back in front of everyone, so they know the innovation and things that we've done in regards to our new marching battery and all of our front ensemble equipment. So our first year has been tremendously exciting. It's been great to see the Ludwig-Musser brand in many places, thanks to the support of Sean King and the crew at USBands, and then also the educational outreach that's been happening in partnership with our great brands as well has been tremendous over this past summer and in the fall. And we're just really looking forward to building off of this first season. You know, it's been a little bit of a learning experience for me, not having been involved with USBands as much in the past. And, you know, we see a tremendous opportunity with Conn Selmer Institute, and Frank and the team partnered up with Sean King and the great folks at USBands to just elevate music education through the activity going forward. So we're very excited and grateful to be here with everyone, Randy.
Thanks so much, Mike, for sharing all of that. And Sean, I know it's been a busy season for you. You're finally getting to stay home on a weekend.
One weekend. Yeah, one weekend. Before we head to Midwest. So it's all good.
There you go. So why don't you do a little series recap for us of the season and how it went, and then we can you know, maybe segue whenever you want to over to Frank to talk a little bit about the summer events.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, first, you know, hats off to Mike. Great to see you, and thank you again. You know, the partnership has been tremendous in our first season. It was great to see Uli, you know, at national championships. You know, getting a real feel for what Ludwig-Musser is in relation to our events. We concluded a season, you know, living the outdoor life. We did have two events affected by rain, but the other 98 went off without a hitch. So we wound up with really warm temperatures, 78 degrees and sunny in New York City on our championship weekend. So that was an amazing cap off to a season where we were able to see growth not only in the number of bands participating in the US bands, but also and most importantly, the number of students participating in each of the bands. So we're seeing that upturn in participation. We're also seeing the bands kind of reclaim that level of performance. That was prior to the pandemic. It took them a little time to get their acclimated to what it is that we do. After a while, with a couple of graduating classes and a whole bunch of new folks out on the field, but there was just enthusiasm and joy, and we just met this past week. Our team got together to kind of recap the season, go through what went well, how we can look to improve, and we kind of came away from the season thinking that more so than ever that it's really a 12-month-a-year commitment to the marching activity. That doesn't mean we take our eyes off of our initiatives for indoor percussion and color guard and also concert festivals, but we see increasing numbers of bands interested in participating with US bands, bringing events to locations where we currently aren't. And also seeing a lot of word of mouth between band directors, and that's really what we're after, is being able to have that trust and the ability to say, this US bands thing, it's really it's where I want my program to go and to succeed. And a lot of that credit has to go with the support of our team and also from all of our partners, and first and foremost Conn Selmer and Ludwig-Musser and the great family that you all welcomed us to the team with. And also, not to leave by the wayside, our Western Band Association had one of its most successful years. Interestingly enough, it's been a partner with BDPA for over 5 years. This is only I think only the third true championship that they had, thanks to the pandemic and fires and other maladies that got in the way. But they capped off a tremendous season with their grand championships in Southern California, and we were really excited by the turnout. Literally, thousands more people than we have had in the past. So we, the state of the union is strong, and we're really excited now as we turn our attention not only planning for 2023 fall, but we have 3 concert events coming up along the East Coast, one in Rutgers University, one at the University of Connecticut, and one at Towson University. And that segues really nicely into our summer education plans, which Frank can speak to a little bit about, growing from what we did last year with a couple of events coming back online after a year or two away, as well as expanding our relationship with DCI and some of those educational opportunities, not only for students, but also for music educators to come out and see where that crossover is. So our sleeves are rolled up, and we're ready to get to work on a tremendous 2023. But we always want to take a look back and say, hey, thank you to everybody who participated, who was part of the community for US bands, from judges to event staff to the bands, to the parents, everybody involved. And there's a lot of great stuff on the way. And I'll just leave it with that tease, and I'll pass it off to Frank to talk a little bit about education.
Real quick before we do that.
Sure.
I think it's important we mentioned the addition of the show band track to the
for sure.
Can you talk just a couple minutes?
Yeah, for sure. We had 3 different events, one in North Carolina, one in Alabama, and one in Texas. Each went off just about how we had planned, in terms of participation, in terms of really speaking to the educational component of the show style. We're fortunate because our sheets are written in such a way that it's easy for us to kind of move and be able to acknowledge the different styles in that genre. Color guard in show style is tremendously different than, you know, what we know as the core style side of things. So, you know, we're tweaking and we're looking at benchmarking different things so that the dance teams are acknowledged for their work and the style that they bring, as well as all of the musical excellence that's on display at those events. What I particularly love about those events is it's a never-ending music machine, really, because the way they're structured, we have the bands coming on the field to do their field performances, but the bands that either have performed or will be performing are up in the stands playing in between each of the bands. So it really is a seamless approach to you know, those dead times when we're all sitting in the stadium waiting for the next group to take to the field. That we've kind of programmed those in a way that's very exciting. So we had 3 events this year. We are currently tracking towards 8 events next year, adding Jacksonville, Florida, Nashville, Tennessee, and also Columbia, South Carolina. And we are in negotiations to go back to Louisiana, as well as moving into Dallas. So there's some really super opportunities for growth, and to be able to tell that story and that side of the activity that has so much intensity and excitement and entertainment. We can't wait to get started on that.
That's great. And as we all know, you know, the bands continue to get better because of educational initiatives and connections that we make with the educators bringing those bands. So Frank, what a great segue to talk about some of the educational things that you were involved in this summer and what the plans are for the future.
Oh yeah, and I loved it. And Sean, you mentioned that, you know, coming back after being away, last summer was our first time being live in a couple of years. And I was shocked at how smoothly everything went. Attendance was good. I feel like the educational product, if you want to call it that we delivered was very strong. The cool thing about this past summer and the direction we're going is we have these day of events in conjunction with DCI, where we'll partner with a core, and the kids will have an opportunity to watch the rehearsals and do some side-by-side activities with them. And we do that in a very compressed, content-rich format. And then we have our 2-day and 3-day events where we really can dig in and work on developing things over the course of that time. So we may establish residency along with the drum corps for a couple of days, plan some side-by-side events, break out into separate tracks for color guard, for woodwinds and brasses, for percussion, and for directors. So we're really working to be as comprehensive as we can. And each market that we go into, we work to tailor toward the people that attend those events, so that we're not just rubber stamping things. We really don't do any 2 events alike. And that's what makes it exciting for me as the teacher, because I can't remember any time I had 2 rehearsals that were alike. So this sort of fits right in with that whole world that we live in anyway.
I love that. That's great. And that's a really good point, Frank, for our listeners to be able to know that it's going to be customized and that there's something for everybody. And that's the thing that's really exciting about this partnership, is it seems like we're casting a wide net and trying not to leave folks out. And that's really, really important to the educational efforts of pageantry arts and teachers all across the country. That's great. Well, I certainly appreciate everybody's time today. The beautiful thing about Coffee Talk is that we assure our educators that they can make it through a cup of coffee, and by the time they're done, hopefully they don't drink too fast, but they certainly they do often drink from a fire hose here when it comes to all the great stuff that everyone shares on this. But we certainly appreciate, and this is certainly no exception this morning. Thanks so much to Mike, Sean, and Frank for joining us. And I know I speak for Richard when I say, keep on keeping on, and thanks so much for all you're doing to help students and educators out there.